Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody? My name is Maurice, and this is Rapology, your favorite rapper's favorite podcast.
It's your girl DJ South City. Happy
And
Monday.
yeah, exactly. What's going on with you, son?
Not that much, man. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you. Just wanted to come on for the second installment of Rapology and come to you guys and talk about some hip hop. Today episode, we're going to dive in, and we have a question for the audience. Basically, which is more important in hip hop? It was a poll that I did on Threads, and I listed which is more important in hip hop, whether it's lyrics, beats, delivery, or storytelling. I just wanted to know what are your thoughts on that? What would you say is more important when you're listening to an album or a song?
What your take is? I think most of the people on Threads said that lyrics were the most important out of the over 100 and plus responses that we got, which I thought was very interesting.
Right.
I'm also curious to know, like, okay, so what was the logic between, like, what's the difference between lyrics and storytelling? Like, before I really give my answer, I really want to be able to dissect, like,
Right.
storytelling.
Well, if you ask me, I would say the storytelling is basically, for me, is just like the whole concept to bring you in to what they're saying, painting the picture. That's the storytelling part of the song. It's like if you look at a song from the Ghetto Boys, Mind Playing Tricks on You, the storytelling, they were just basically telling you a story around. It can't go hand in hand, storytelling and lyrics. I see what you're saying, but the storytelling is just, it's like the body around it. It's like the script, like, in my opinion, it's like the story, like, how do I captivate the audience to what I'm trying to say here? It's like when Biggie made Warning, when he started out with, who the fuck is this paging me 5:46 in the morning? He just putting you there like he was just telling that story. And of course, the lyrics have to be there for the story to convey, but that's my opinion on the storytelling and lyrics side of everything like that. So that's my opinion. What you think?
No, that makes sense. Okay, so when I was thinking about it, I was just like, all right, so lyrics and storytelling definitely are akin to each other, right? But
Right.
I think that, when I think about artists that have good storytelling, but maybe not necessarily the best lyrics, I'm thinking like, that's real. That rarely happens. Like, you're a good storyteller, a lot of times you got good lyrics. But there are artists who lyrically are fire, but may not necessarily be telling the story. Like, example I thought of was Lil Wayne. Like, I feel like he definitely is a great lyricist, right? But he don't do a lot of storytelling. It's a lot of metaphors, similes, double entendres, things like that. So that's why I was like, okay, I can go along with that thought process. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Lyrics versus storytelling. But I just
Right.
want to make sure I understood, because I think when people see that question, a lot of times, like, the first thought is like storytelling. Lyrics, it is basically storytelling. But in this context, it could be certainly different for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, to piggyback off what you just said, you could be a great lyricist and not be a great storyteller, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of, like you said, Lil Wayne, he has he has a great lyricist, but like you said, when you think of like storytelling and stuff like that, I don't really look to him for a good storytelling song or anything like that. I think when I think of storytelling, I think of people like Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z, Nas, of course, Slick Rick, probably the originator, the original storyteller for what he did back in the 80s with his song. What was damn, I forgot the name of the song. It forgets me, but I think he probably had the first storytelling. So he was known as the storyteller of hip hop.
Are you talking about Slick Rick?
Yeah, Slick Rick.
Oh, a children's story?
Yeah, children's story. Yeah. I'm sorry about
so
it.
let me tell you, that's actually how I was telling somebody, was like, that's actually how I fell in love with hip hop, was because of Children's Story by Slick Rick. Like, I remember listening to that record and just being like captivated. Like, I felt like I was watching TV. Like, I was literally watching like this scenario, this story unfold as I was listening to it. I was like maybe like 5 or 6 or something.
Exactly.
And that's literally, like, honestly, like, I was like, whoa, what's this? But okay, so unless you have your answer first, what's your opinion on lyrics?
My opinion, I think everything starts with the lyrics. That's first and foremost, the lyrics. Like I said, 'cause, that catches your attention, but to hold the attention, I would think the beat would be next. I know a lot of people might come with storytelling, but the the beat is definitely up there with storytelling. I mean, up there with the lyrics. I think they go more hand in hand. And then I would say the storytelling. Last for me, I would say delivery. How you say it, the aggression of it, the way you put it. You know, it could be a laid back flow, or it could be or more aggressive or something like that. But I think it's definitely the lyrics for me. Everything starts with the lyrics, as they say, a lyricist. You know, Nas. You know what he did with some of his songs, man. One of the best storytellers of all time. Jay-Z, another song that I was telling you about a few weeks ago off his second album, Where I'm From, when he was basically telling the story of the life and growing up in Marcy Projects. And that was great. The lyrics was great. And the beat was amazing. You know, the beat that, like, one of the best hip hop beats of all time. If you haven't heard Where I'm From by Jay-Z, please go look it up. That beat is amazing. Produced by Bad Boy producer D. Dot. The storytelling on it was a 10 out of 10, and the lyrics was a 10 out of 10. So I would say storytelling number one, the beat is number two. No, I'm sorry. I would say the lyrics is number one, the beat is number two, then storytelling, then delivery.
Okay. So I'm gonna take a very like hip hop purist answer for this question. So when I thought about it, right, really dissected the 4 different areas. For me, I'm going to say storytelling is like the most important, because I believe that is essentially what hip hop was founded on, right? So if you think about the question of what's most important in hip hop, just because of the roots and like the history behind hip hop, it was around us telling our story. And when you think about like Rapper's Delight, you think about Run DMC, you think about like all these, you know, great artists and great songs that people remember, a lot of times it's from the story. Like when I think about Rewind by Nas, I'm like, the most important part to me was honestly the story that he was telling. That's me, because I think I'm looking at it from, like I said, a pure hip hop, you know, perspective. And then secondly, I might agree with you on the beats. I think the beats is kind of really important, because a lot of people, especially in today's day, like they're not really listening to the lyrics for real. They really listening to that production. And I think over the years, we've seen the rise of the importance of a producer. I feel like back in the day, the production was like, you know, it was a highlight, but not as much as it is now. Like now you got producer tags, like now you got, you know, DJ producers like becoming, you know, more of like the celebrity spotlight, you know, but and honestly, think about like, we talk about the importance of hip hop, recognizable beats, like the grinding beat by Clips, you know, Neptune's, like that's a recognizable beat. Like lyrics aside, it's like what make that song was the beat. Like it was everybody, you know what I'm saying, doing it at the lunchroom table.
Yeah, exactly.
I think production is a really big thing, and people kill Nas. So Nas is a really good example of this, because he's a great storyteller, great lyricist, great delivery, but people used to kill him for his production. Like I'll go back and listen to, what's this project? It was like one of his later projects, and it was just kind of like, I think it was like maybe Godson, I think, and it was kind of like maybe lackluster beat wise. It was the one we had the Genuine joint on there, and it was just kind of like,
I think there was I Am.
The I Am
album. Nostradamus. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yes. And I was just like, yeah, I could have did like, it's some projects and all. I'm kind of like, it's not that memorable, because the beats wasn't necessarily there. Now, of course, you can't talk about like his earlier projects, like It Was Written and all those, you know what I'm saying, masterpieces, but I refuse to kill him. All lyrics and delivery, storytelling aside. So for me, I'm definitely gonna say storytelling is number one. I'm going with beats is number two. Important in hip hop between lyrics and delivery, I'm gonna say delivery.
You gonna say delivery?
I think I might actually. This is my hot take. I might put lyrics last, because if you think about it, all right, you have ghostwriters, right? Like as a performer, and we all know people in hip hop have ghostwriters, right? Like what makes that song important is how artist delivers it. Like when I think about Carti B, she can't rap for real. She's not a lyricist, but Invasion of Privacy, why it got so much was because she was able to deliver the lyrics that somebody else wrote for her. So your ability to deliver those lyrics, not to stumble, to, you know what I'm saying, perform, that is pretty important. And then lyrically, I feel like that's the umbrella for all these things. I don't know. That's why I got to put it last. It's like, you know, the lyrics, if it's because it's music, like if it sounds good, it's, you know, you can capture the people.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot take because pretty much all of these go hand in hand. Like for a good hip hop song and a good hip hop album, you got to have all four of these. All of these. You got to have the storytelling. You got to have the lyrics, the beats, and the delivery to be a total MC. And some of the greats all have this. Tupac. You know, you can't forget about the storytelling that he did on Brenda's Got a Baby and Keep Your Head Up and Dear Mama. You know, so storytelling is important. And like I said, the lyrics and storytelling go hand in hand. They kind of, you can't have one without the other. But to put lyrics last, that's kind of a tough one for me. I definitely would have lyrics. It would have to be number one for me. I get what you're saying and how you broke it down. Definitely makes sense because I didn't give much thought to delivery as much as you did. And I see where you came from with that because like you said, somebody can write something for you and you can go in there and the way you deliver it and we would never know. Some of our top hip hop artists, we don't know if they wrote it or not, but they made you believe it, how they came in there with so much conviction and how they delivered it to you with as if they wrote the shit themselves. So you know, you never know. So it just depends. It's not a right answer, I would say. You know, niggas gonna have a different opinion on it anyway. So one person gonna say lyrics, the other person gonna say storytelling, you know, the beats. But I would, you know, it's not a right answer. It's definitely opinion based. What do you value the most? I guess that's what, you know, it should be said. What do you value the most when you listening to a song or album, you know? So, like I said, in the comments, you know, let us know what do you think is more important, the lyrics, the beats, the delivery, the storytelling. So, yeah. So, but that's my take on it. But to have lyrics at the bottom, that's kind of wild. So I ain't gonna lie. That's a hot take for real.
We talk about importance in hip hop though, like
important. I get it.
What covers that though is the storytelling. Like if you're telling a story, then I think you kind of touch on the lyrics a little bit.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm thinking about Nas, like Nasir is a great. I'm gonna keep picking on Nas because you know that's my guy. Nasir is a great album in the sense of like lyrically it was there, but the delivery was off. The production was terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like that just wasn't a great album. Like you could have kept that in trash, but the lyrics are there.
Is that the one he did? Is that the one he did with Kanye?
Yeah.
The Nasir album, yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's what I'm
When
saying.
Kanye was doing like them 7-song albums and stuff like that. Yeah.
But when I listen to the lyrics, he talking about some real stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like he's actually in typical Nas form, but it just didn't fit because the other things was off. So I do think that all those things have to be harmonious for it to be, you know, a dope project, a dope song, whatever the case may be. But important storytelling, like if you could tell a good story, you can put it on a good beat. Like Rapper's Delight, for example, is probably the most simplest record ever, but it was like it told a story in ABC rhymes.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. It made it simple.
It's one of the most memorable songs ever.
That's true.
You know, and it was delivered in a way that caught people's attention. Right. I don't know. That's the way I'm thinking about it.
You making a great case for delivery, and it's making sense. So I will give you that. It's making sense. Delivery is more important than I initially thought. I will probably have to put that at
maybe 3.
Probably maybe 3. You know.
Okay.
You ain't gonna change my opinion on the lyrics. Lyrics got to be number one. I'm sorry. Yeah, lyrics got to be number one. Then that beat got to be hitting, like you said, grinding. When you look at "Whoa" by Black Rob, when you look at some of your favorite songs, like the beat, you know, the beat has to be. That's why we have the Timberlands and Neptunes and the guys of today. Even Dr. Dre and them back in the day, the producer, they played a big part and what the artist was doing. And now you have the guys of today, like, what's his name? Metro Boomin, one of my favorite producers right now. And what's the guy that did the albums with Nas? I forgot. Hit Boy. Yeah, Hit Boy. Yeah, Hit Boy and all them guys, what they're doing. So it's a number. DJ Premier, hope him and Nas drop that album this year. So, you know, we praying hopefully that comes this year. But the producer, the beat goes hand in hand. So I would pick
the beat
lyrics, beat, delivery, and I say storytelling last.
That's not okay, but I hear you. I do.
Nah,
that's why we gotta ask people. Let us know in the comments. Like, what's the most important. And that's a very important, let's clarify, the most important part.
Most
of the
important
hip-hop
part.
record project. Now, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's no right or wrong answer. It's what do you deem as important to you, I guess.
For sure.
Not everybody like to be like, oh man, you said blah, blah, blah. How can you say lyrics is last? Or how can you say, hey, that's what I think, when I'm listening to it. There's no
You know how this goes.
universal. Yeah, you know how niggas get, they gonna, people like to argue just for the sake of arguing. It's opinion, what I think. So, definitely let us know in the comments. And, do you have anything else you want to say on this topic before we,
Nah, but I
possibly
think
move on?
no, but I think it leads to like a great segue to, what we're gonna talk about next is to Pimp a Butterfly, like the anniversary. Like when we think about hip hop, Kendrick Lamar is always in the conversation.
Always.
And yesterday, 10 years ago, he released To Pimp a Butterfly, which was third
Classic.
album.
Yeah, third album.
Yeah.
The second major label album, but the third album overall. You remember he had the Section 80.
Right. Because
Good Kid, Mad
what's the
City.
album?
Yeah. So third album. Pimp a Butterfly.
We'll take it.
Yeah,
But
we'll take it.
So for me, shout out to Kendrick for that project, because I felt like that was a project full of meat and substance, right? Like it was definitely a pivotal moment in time, in hip hop, where conscious rap was kind of like going out of, I don't want to say going out of style, but like it was real poppy, back then until 2015. It was definitely taking over airways.
Yeah, he was.
And then Kendrick came with like this super symbolic album, like Black Power movement, like, setting a soundtrack for the time when people were just kind of focused, saying hip hop was dead, and like we were just kind of focusing on the beats and like the kind of viral moments in the pop part of hip hop. So I appreciated that about the Pimp a Butterfly. It had all the things, lyrically, delivery. The beats were good too, like super soulful project. I think we had heard that from Good Kid, Mad City. So it was just like a great follow-up. Like technically it's a sophomore album, like, so we can call it that, but definitely I think it was a highly anticipated too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
What was your favorite record? Like, what was your top three?
My top three off of here, definitely All Right, produced by Pharrell and the Neptunes. Just the social commentary in there, everything that he had, going on. It just, like I said, the album was just amazing. My top three songs, like I said, All Right, Mortal Man, the song when he was just telling the story and he was having like a conversation with Tupac at the end. It kind of, how that segue into that. I like King Kunta. Like I said, I like Black of the Berry. I like a lot of songs on this album. It to me, it's just a perfect album. It's an amazing album with the funk, the jazz. It's just for him to go into a total different direction. Like you said, in 2015, Drake was that dude, and nope. To Pimp a Butterfly didn't sound like no album that was out. Like Kendrick just went totally left. He took a chance with this album. It didn't even sound like Good Kid, Mad City. So, like I said, those would be my top three. All Right, Mortal Man, King Kunta. But like I said, I like every song on there. But if I had to name three, those would be my three.
I got you. I'm gonna go with Mama, because I really appreciated that production. Like that record stood out to me. I remember when I first heard it, I was like, oh, okay, what's this? And I think that was like a little bit halfway probably down the project. But that record, when I heard Mama, I was like, because All Right we had already heard through the single, like that was there. So I wasn't really shocked by that when I listened to the project, but I heard Mama and I was like, oh, here we go about the storytelling, right? So again, for me, the storytelling is really like everything. And that's really what captures me first. And then I'm going to say my second one, I love How Much a Dollar Costs. I thought that was fire. First of all, that was fire. Isley on the record.
Yeah,
and
that was
James
fire.
Great addition to it. And it was just the content, like, it was just so relevant. And like I said, it was a time where like, I think I was really hungry for conscious rap. I was wanting something that I felt like meant something to the culture. And like, when I think about the backdrop of what was happening around this time, like you had, a lot of police brutality was kind of come to the forefront, and just a lot of conversation around being Black around that time. I think it was kind of like the start of like the revolution because of like the police killings. And I feel like Kendrick Lamar put a soundtrack to that to really uplift the people And he was just in his conscious bag, and I appreciated that. So How Much a Dollar Costs was definitely one. And then the last one I'll say is I did love King Kuta. I'm not gonna hold you
Yeah,
like
King. Yeah, that was
yeah, that one was definitely fire. But I'm not gonna put that in my top three. I think my top
okay.
three is not gonna be Complexion because now you got Rhapsody on there.
Okay.
And that for
Absolutely.
me, yeah, I love Rhapsody. So I'm gonna give it to her. On that one because he had that one. But again, another song about messaging, right? Like I think it talks about colorism and just especially with her being a Black woman, like,
Yeah.
having her on that record was phenomenal to me. So I'm gonna go with those three, but I honestly I think that was a solid project that doesn't get talked a lot about when it comes to like, hip hop albums.
Yeah.
I just think at the time when it was released, people were just kind of still in that club hip hop mindset. It's 2015. People were still clubbing on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that is true. That just
Yeah,
speaks to the testament because this is a Black album, man. He was just unapologetic about it. It's a Black ass album, man. He
that
was
was for
just
real.
his Grammy performance that he did. He just was unapologetic about it, man. He was like Kendrick being Kendrick, man. This is, like I said, an amazing album, and I just found this out on the cover. This legendary cover, one of the best hip hop covers. This is actually his friends from his neighborhood. I saw an
Oh, that's
interview.
fire.
Yeah, that they did this cover in front of the White House, of course, for the White
Yeah.
House as the backdrop. But yeah, these are actually people he know, his friends and people from his community and stuff like that. A very symbolic cover, man. It's powerful. It speaks, and it just speaks to you, and they have the judge the judge right there on the ground and everything like that. So I didn't realize, I thought it was just a bunch of people that they probably superimposed onto the cover. But he was like, nah, this is actual people from his neighborhood, people that he grew up with, and things like that. This, like I said, this album was just symbolic, man. It was a dope album from Kendrick. 10 years, like I said, just amazing, man. He had some legends on here, like you said, Ronald Isley. He had George Clinton on here. Just had that funk and that jazz sound that we really wasn't getting in hip hop at that time. So salute to Kendrick for that.
Yeah,
For
especially
sure.
it was something that like the West Coast was known for. We was just missing that voice, like
Right.
at the time, like, and that's the role that I think Kendrick really played, like in hip hop a little bit. Like he really puts on for the West Coast, and he brings that authentic G funk sound to
Yeah, exactly.
back into hip hop that was kind of when the South was taking over. He was able to find that voice, and it meant something. Like I said, that was one of the things that I remember around that time, like was important. It was a soundtrack to like the beginning of a movement of consciousness.
Yeah.
Like I said, especially as it relates to everything that was going on. Because I think around that time, I don't know if Mike Brown had passed by that time already, or if it was Samir Rice. It
Yeah,
was
it
like
was
a
around
few.
by that
It was
time.
like a few like notable police
Yeah.
shootings that happened like before the album came out, and so that's I think what made it even more important in hip hop in the conversation. And even if you play that album today, the content is still relevant.
Yeah, it's aged well.
Yeah, it ages so well. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard it, I was just like, dang, like, is anybody hearing this? Like, I'm hearing
Yeah.
this. I was like, I feel like people wasn't talking about it enough. I remember writing about it, and everybody was just so focused on the All Right record. But I'm like, it's more than just that. Like,
Okay.
I think it was a soundtrack for sure of a Black movement that I think the woke culture that we have
The woke
today.
culture, right?
Yeah,
It,
that's one of them.
yeah. Basically what you said, piggyback off of that. And, Kendrick, he's just being who he always was, man. And we appreciate him for making, like I said, it was a soundtrack. And then fast forward a couple years later, when the George Floyd thing happened, then they had
Right.
All Right was basically like the soundtrack for what was going on that summer and stuff like that. Just for the Black Lives Matter movement in general, that song was. Just like you said, this album aged well. 10 years later, it's still relevant. You still can take something from it, So, and that's what we look for in a classic. Like, how does it age? Like, what's the replay value? 10 years later, and you still can play this. You still can get something from it. So that is the definition of a true hip hop, classic for sure.
Exactly. So are we okay to stamp To Pimp a Butterfly as a hip hop classic album?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a hip hop classic. I would say I would stand on that. I would stand on that one. I think this could be mentioned up there with some of the greatest hip hop albums. And Kendrick has a legendary discography. He does, and some people were saying, damn, the album that followed To Pimp a Butterfly is actually better than To Pimp a Butterfly. You got Good Kid, Mad City. So he has a legendary discography, but I ain't gonna lie, I do think Damn might be a little better, We'll discuss that at a later time, but I think it might be a little better. But in my opinion, I think To Pimp a Butterfly is definitely a hip hop classic. I would say for sure.
Let us know. We love engagement in the comments, so let us know.
Yeah, definitely let us know.
Butterfly deserves to be, I think so. I'm kind of 50-50.
I think so. This is one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. I stand on it. Yeah.
I don't know if I know that. All time. Of all time?
Yeah, one of the greatest.
I would not put To Pimp a Butterfly over Section 80, but I get it. I get it.
But that's a testament to how great Kendrick is, because you can have that debate. You're like, no, it's Section 80. No, it's no, it's Damn. No, it's Good Kid, Mad City. So that's a testament to his greatness.
I'm cool on Damn.
You don't like Damn?
Damn was cool. I just feel like, it was cool. Like, I don't know. I think, so just so our listeners know, I'm actually a little anti-pop. So when artists start to get like super popular, which I think when Damn came out, Kendrick Lamar was kind of on the road like how he is now.
He was at the top.
Yeah, he was definitely like that. Was that Grammy nominated? Did he win a Grammy nominated?
Yeah. I think so.
So he definitely, that was his coming out project. Yeah. So for me, I was already kind of like, I've been listening to Kendrick since,
You don't think he was the underdog? Okay.
Like, y'all niggas just getting on now.
I agree.
Yeah.
He didn't feel like he was the underdog by the time Damn came out. It's like he already made. He had songs with Rihanna and stuff like that on Damn.
And he became the big pop star at that point, I think.
Yeah.
But, okay.
We could discuss that on a later episode. We could dive into Damn on a later episode. So hopefully I could change your view on that. Damn is an amazing album, by the way. Yo, you tripping?
Cheer me in the comments.
Yeah, you tripping on that one. You tripping?
They go slide me the comments with us. Here.
Yeah. But like I said, anything else you want to say about, To Pimp a Butterfly, before
No, I just think it was a dope project. I'm actually, today was a good day to go spin it. I said, culture relevant 10 years later. It's crazy to think 10 years has passed, but
I know, right?
Here we are and we discussing it. And if you let us know what your top 3 songs are.
Yeah, let us know.
If you liked it, hated it, whatever, if you think it's a classic, it's definitely got all the 4 elements that we talked about. Though,
all 4. Definitely.
When it comes to hip hop, the lyrics, delivery,
storytelling.
Definitely. Delivery for me, again, another reason why I believe delivery is very important, because when you think about hip hop artists that can capture your ear, such as Kendrick Lamar, especially on To Pimp a Butterfly, he delivers the lyrics and the story in a way with inflection, with conviction. Like, those things are important, and that's what makes you believe in what he's saying. I
agree with that.
That's my take.
Yeah. I agree with that. You convinced me. Delivery is very important. That's number 3 on the list. So yeah.
It is. Okay. Which is a great segue.
Yeah, great segue. Shout out to Pimp a Butterfly, man. Yeah. Shout out to it. Shout out to Kendrick. I guess we'll segue into, what's next. Playboi Carti released the album on Friday. I'm not a Playboi Carti fan, so I don't know much about him and everything like that. The reason what interests me, because Kendrick was actually on this album.
Okay. What's the song? Something
Kendrick actually appears on 3 songs on this album.
Really?
He's on a song called Backdoor, Mojo Mojo, and Good Credit. He's on 3 songs. So he's not rapping on all 3. He gives a full verse on the song Good Credit. And the other 2 songs, Mojo Mojo and Backdoor, he kind of do like the chorus, and he kind of give ad-libs on the other song. So, he's from Atlanta. I guess Kendrick is a fan. I like what Kendrick is doing because on the Mr. Morale and Big Steppers album, he had, what's the dude name? Kodak. Yeah, Kodak Black on there. Nobody wasn't expecting that. Like, Kendrick doing a song with Kodak Black. Kodak Black appeared on there a couple of times. So that was a shock to everybody. So I guess Kendrick thing is to show, I can, I can get with these guys too, that might not be as lyrical, might make different style, different type of music. I like that stuff too. I can work with these guys as well. So yeah, like I said, he shows up on here 3 times. It's a 30-song album. Like I said, I just listened to the songs with Kendrick. I listened to the song with Feature as well. Feature is on here twice. Travis Scott is on here. He has a lot of big rappers on. He got Young Thug, Travis Scott, Lil Uzi Vert, Kendrick. So they all definitely came through. Feature is on here. The Weeknd. So it's a big project, and it's doing numbers as well. But like I said, I don't listen to Playboi Carti, so I couldn't tell you nothing else outside of that. I'm definitely not listening to 30 songs of Playboi Carti.
An hour and 15 minutes of Playboi Carti is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. So if it's good or it's a good album, I couldn't tell you. I take your word for it. If it, I don't know. I just listen to the songs with Kendrick. I listen to the songs with Feature, and the people that I like.
Not to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all I can tell you for Playboi Carti. I never listened to him before, and I'm probably sure I might not listen to him again. Not saying there's nothing wrong with his style, but just not for me. He's just not for me. I'm sure he's for somebody, but that's just not my style of hip hop and stuff like that. But I'm glad Kendrick is on there though. Shout out to Kendrick though.
So now I'm intrigued because now I gotta go back and do some homework and go and listen to the project. And honestly, I'm gonna do my best to give the whole project a spin, because I think a lot of times it's like hip hop heads tend to just discredit like the newer voices in hip hop, and sometimes that be, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that be having some shit on their project. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna listen to it with an open mind, with open ears.
That's fair enough.
But we gonna see, because like we're kind of got some decent songs. So I mean, but he's just doing some weird stuff lately. So that's why I'm a little like.
Yeah, he was definitely on there making a lot of voices and sounds and stuff. It was my first time ever listening to him, so I'm not familiar with him.
So he's doing that.
Yeah. So, and like I said, I'm not saying that he's not a good rapper. No, I don't know. Like I said, he's just not my cup of tea. I'm sure he's dope. If Kendrick working with him, he obviously sees something in him. So
right.
So that's that. Shout out to him and his moving units.
Okay. Yeah, we'll circle back next time.
Yeah, we'll circle back. And since you said that, I would approach it with an open mind.
Open mind.
There's no such thing as a stereotypical hip hop. Hip hop is hip hop, man. We don't want to come off as if it don't sound like lyrical, that means you can't listen to it. So yeah.
The sound is important. If you just throw random, cymbals and
exactly.
And it don't make sense, then it's not gonna sound good, even if it is good lyrics.
Exactly.
But in this case, if it sounds good and the beat is good and Playboi Carti is just mumbling something, sonically it sounds, you might be able to pop it on in a certain situation, right? Because we all know music gets played in different circumstances. So
that's true.
I'm listening to it open mind. Okay. I'm like Maurice. I don't subscribe to Playboi Carti, but I love to listen to all new music. I just really wasn't that interested this weekend.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of new releases this weekend already.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
but if y'all listen to something that came out this weekend, let us know.
Yeah, definitely let us know. I know BG, if anybody an old Cash Money fan, he dropped something on Friday. Yeah, BG.
The whole project?
I think so. I heard the song with him, Bootsy, and Juvenile. So yeah, BG, if you're an old Cash Money Hot Boys fan, go show BG some love. He dropped something. And also, I guess to segue off of that, and the name of the Playboi Carti project is called I Am Music, or I think it's shortened to Music. So, however you want to do that. Yeah. It is what it is. And my man Freddie Gibbs, our boy Freddie Gibbs, we're both big Freddie Gibbs fans. He dropped, I guess, 2 songs this week. Mm-hmm. Nobody and The Big 2. So
definitely both fire records.
Yeah, both fire.
Yeah, and the Nobody, I had to go back and so I was like, I know I heard this before, because it was Nobody was interlude on his project, That I Want, under Nobody Like You, I think.
Likes You, yeah.
But Nobody Likes You. And then I guess he turned that interlude into a full song. And so that Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
exactly.
Freddie.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Freddie Gibbs. That nigga nice, man. I love Freddie Gibbs. He always got that soulful beat, the soulful laid back flow. He's a lyricist. He's one of the best rappers in the game, in my opinion. But shout out to Freddie Gibbs, man. He got the song Nobody. It's available on the streaming platform. The Big 2 is actually on his page. He didn't release that for whatever reason, onto the streaming platforms. But yeah, that's nice too. If you're
I
a
hate when
Freddie Gibbs
artists do
fan.
that. I hate when artists do that because how am I supposed to find it? Like,
I think I heard people saying, I think this for like sample reasons or clearances and stuff, because I think it samples like a SWV sample. So if you can't get it cleared or something, you can't really have it for sale or for streaming or something like that. I guess it be for promotional use only, to make it legally to use, as long as you're not trying to profit from it. That's my understanding of it. So that's probably what it is. Not saying that is, but that's probably what it is. But it's a dope song.
Yeah, no, it is. I heard it.
Yeah.
Friday. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't go back and realize it. Streaming. Hate that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do like a shame. It sounds like going through all of the releases from like this past week. I'm going to do like a shameless plug. So speaking of like old school, you'll not believe who just released a song. Bubba Sparks and Big Crit has a new song.
It just came out.
That was a collaboration I was not expecting.
But I ain't heard that song. I mean, I ain't heard Bubba Sparks' name in 20 years.
But he got a record with Big Crit. So check that out and let us know what you think, because I was very interested in that one.
Okay.
A couple honorable mentions. I know Currency got a new project with Harry Fraud, which is like, project number 50 between the two. So okay. That's worth mentioning, but it's an honorable mention. Oh, and the record with Bubba Sparks and Big Crit is called Yeah Buddy. Oh,
Yeah Buddy.
That record is on all streaming platforms. Like I said, you got the Harriet Fraud and Currency's project. Reason has a song as well called The Soul Part 4. And I think that's like all the new releases that I probably cared about from this last week. It really was a quiet week, quiet Friday.
Yeah, it was quiet. It definitely was quiet. I guess if you want to talk about deluxe edition, Benny the Butcher and 38 Stab and Shot 2, they released that. But like I said, overall this past week it was definitely a quiet week for hip hop releases.
But it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's time to sit back on old albums. I've been listening to old stuff anyway, which I'm sure people on this podcast probably do.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, you gotta get the classics to spin. Yeah,
for sure.
And Young Buck, I see he released something as well called Renovation.
Okay.
It's a 7-song project. If you remember Young Buck from the G in the days, shout out to the Young Buck. So some, just keep an open mind when you're listening to stuff, man. You might find some hidden gems and stuff.
Definitely.
So
we gotta make sure we highlight. I know we talk a lot about like classic projects and just like things people probably have already heard, but we gonna let y'all know like good new releases too, because that's important, especially when you got hip hop heads who are hesitant to listen to like new music. It's like
those niggas are worse, man. Like y'all niggas be missing out on some good stuff. I used to be like that. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like it got to be 90s or early 2000s, man. This new shit is garbage. Nah, man, you got to get out of that mind frame. It's a lot of new guys or guys that came out in the last 10 years or something, like 5 years, that are really dope, that's making good quality albums, man. Everything don't have to be, 90s or, everything like, how hip-hop heads are. They stubborn. So if it ain't that Nas or, something like that, oh, man, I ain't listening to that. Like, you don't listen to, like, nah, man, just because, So they kind of stuck in their ways, but yeah, you definitely got to go into it with an open mind, man. And
that's why I'm going to give this Playboi Carti a spin for real. I'm going to listen with an open mind.
Okay.
Now, we're going to see how many tracks I get in.
Now, I know, right? 30, and I'm not going to lie, 30 songs from anybody is pushing it. It's pushing it. Unless unless you one of my favorite, like a Jay-Z or Nas, man, I listen to that. That shit is feel like, 5 minutes because you already like them, so it's nothing. Right. But you got to be that nigga for me to listen to 30 songs, man. You got to be Kendrick. You got to be Cole. You got to be one of them niggas for me to listen to 30 songs from you, man.
Crazy. But Chris Brown does it all the time.
Yeah, Chris Brown does it. But Chris Brown is dope. Chris Brown is Chris Brown.
I agree. I do agree. So if y'all have heard that Playboi Carti album, again,
let us know. Let us know.
Drop a comment. Let us know what we should listen to.
Okay. Well, I guess that's all we have for this week. Do you have anything else you want to add before we close out the show, Miss Sai?
Just listen to good music, people.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Listen to good music, listen to good hip hop. You know, we don't have a lot of hot takes on this show. So we appreciate, all the comments and smoke that y'all got for us regardless.
Exactly.
But
All right. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Like I said, I'm Maurice, and this is Rapology, your favorite rapper's favorite podcast. And
this is South City.
All right. And we signing off. We'll see you guys next week. Peace. All right. Peace.